Joe Biden is pardoning allegedly maybe more people. Now, I say allegedly maybe because he hasn't actually done it yet. This is just on the rumor mill. But here we go. Biden aides discussing preemptive pardons for Fauci. I got that one from my buddy Nick. Schiff and Cheney. I think there's more behind this, by the way. I think there's a lot more. I'm calling it the deep state because Liz Cheney is like the war machine, the military industrial complex. And probably some shady stuff happened. And it's what's weird to me, and I could be wrong on this, okay, folks? So please take this part very much with a grain of salt. I'm finding it odd that he's starting to like think about pardoning politicians. I don't find it odd in the sense of, look, these freaking people are corrupt, man. They are corrupt. But it just shows you the corruption. Why pardon these people at all? Well, let's find out. According to a new report, President Joe Biden's aides are discussing whether he should preemptively pardon government officials to protect them from possible inquiries or indictments from the incoming Trump administration. Well, if they didn't do anything wrong, then what's the problem? You kind of only do these things usually if you know there's pretty much some shady activity going on. And let's face it, when you hear the name Schiff, Fauci, and Cheney, you probably know there's some shady bleep going on. And you don't even have to be in Congress to know that. Everybody sees it in front of the curtain. But we also hear rumors behind the curtain as well on how shady these people are. White House officials are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who've committed no crimes, both because it could suggest impropriety, only fueling Trump's criticisms, and because those offered preemptive pardons may reject them. Names mentioned from Politico, including members of January 6th. There you go. I knew it. I knew it had to be somewhere in there of what was going on. You know, and this is why it was a big deal. Kash Patel being named as the FBI director, you know that guy's going to go into this. You got the January 6th stuff. I want to find out what was still going on with those pipe bombs outside the RNC and DNC on January 6th. I would love to know about that. You got the JFK files. You got the Epstein list, that black book that the FBI director is withholding. You also have these mass shooters whose kind of theory and ideology in their notebooks are still being withheld from people. He's going to release all of that. How can you pardon people without charges? Well, look, he did. Okay, I'll give you a prime example, Hunter Biden. Now, Hunter Biden did have charges. I understand that. But if you read the language of what Joe Biden put out, he said basically anything that may or may not have been basically criminal activity, he's pardoned for. It would be the same thing here. You would just have to put a blanket statement, pardon those that may or may not have done something. That's basically where we're at, which is why the courts are kind of looking at this going, is this even constitutional? That's the question. And by the way, Angel, it was a fabulous question. We're pardoning people that allegedly haven't done anything. Hence why I said, why would you pardon them in the first place if you haven't done anything? Which is saying that they've done what? Oh, they've done a lot of something. Oh, they've done a lot of something. And so is Hunter, which is why he pardoned him for an entire decade. And actually, like I said on yesterday's show, Hunter knew, allegedly, of when he was going to be pardoned, meaning there was a few hour gap between when he could have actually done anything criminal and got away with it. So he could have moved money from offshore accounts to bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing, and just done a bunch of illegal activity. He's completely pardoned for it. Now, January 6th here, you got Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, Fauci. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. I want to know, years ago, we covered how many agents were on the ground on January 6th. I don't even remember the article. I think it said about 200 that allegedly they knew of. Agents, specifically from a 3-letter agency, were on the ground on January 6th and were embedded within the crowd and actually were helping and engaging in trying to get the crowd to go inside the Capitol. Now, there is a famous photograph. I don't want to show it because I'm not 100% certain if it's legitimate or not, but there is a picture of an individual, and I covered this yesterday, holding a badge, wearing Trump merchandise inside the building and flashing it and going in. Kash Patel is going to release a lot of that. And I think there's a lot of shady stuff on this. The reason why is because the Democrat Party specifically these committee members, withheld 40,000 hours of footage from the American people. Hours. And if you noticed, for years, we only saw the same 6 minutes or less tape over and over and over and over again. If it was so horrible, I'm not saying it was a great day. I'm not saying it was a good move for those people to go inside the Capitol. That's not even remotely what I'm saying. I've always said they're idiots. You shouldn't be doing things like that. You're a grown adult. Like, pull your head out of your ass. You obviously don't go in there and destroy a fucking window. You don't sit there and go and just start stomping on people's desks. Like, what the hell are we, animals? It's not a conservative Republican ideology, okay, folks? It's not. We're not idiots. We're not animals like the Democrat Party and the progressive left, so we shouldn't act like it. It wasn't a good day. Wasn't smart. But what I'm saying is, it also wasn't in proportion of what the media made it out to be. Those people had permits to be on the grounds. They were sitting there protesting peacefully. They have every damn right to sit there and wave the flag and all that other stuff. Totally for it. But what happened was, when Tucker Carlson got those timestamps of those videotapes, it showed when that committee, that January 6th committee, looked at those tapes, meaning it showed specifically all the footage that they identified. And they strategically sat there and picked out specific ones that made it look like the worst. Well, they were called out for it. Yes, sir. They were called out for it. And you want to know who they blamed? It's such a Democrat thing to do. It's such a Joe Biden Democrat thing to do. Do you think they took the blame for themselves? Do you think Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff, that smug nut job, do you think they actually sat there and took the blame for it? No, sir. They sat there and blamed who? They blamed their staffers. I shit you not. They blamed their staffers for it. Talk about freaking lack of courage. Scummy, man. Slimy, swampy. The beneficiaries know nothing, one source insisted. Sure. Like they're not all in cahoots with one another. Some Democrats in Congress are urging Biden to issue the pardons. Massachusetts hard-left Senator Ed Markey, attacking Trump, said in late November, I think that without question, Trump is going to try to act in a dictatorial way. Still with the rhetoric, still with this crap. He's Hitler, right? In a fantastic way, or a fascistic way. Wow, forgive me. So he's a fascist too. He's a dictator. He's a fascist, right? He's a Nazi. Oh, he's gonna bring Germany back. And a revengeful first year towards individuals who he believes harmed him. Now, I'm gonna say something here. If you didn't want Trump to do this, Democrats, then why did you open the door to do it? You led all this. Joey's the one that did all this. It wasn't us. So it's so funny that all of a sudden when we want to sit there and go after you guys and look under the hood, even if you may have done nothing wrong, in the same way that you looked under the hood on Donald Trump when he may have done nothing wrong, well, all of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden we're the bad guys. In the same way, whenever they do anything, it's completely okay. But when we do the exact same thing, all of a sudden we're racist, we're Nazis, we're bigots, we're sexist, right? All these things. It's astonishing how that happens, isn't it? I'm okay with Trump going after it. I've always said this. You want to sit there and open that doorway, and I said when it happened, then you know what, Trump? I hope you sit there and go full-blown DOJ on their ass. And I'm talking investigate everybody, because they sat there and put your family through hell. They put your family through hell. And it's only right that you give it back to them, because they did this shit. I don't like it, but this is what Democrats created. This is the mess they've made. So not only do they get to make a mess, but we also have to clean it up. And then when we also try to make their side a little bit messy because, you know what, they threw a bunch of garbage on our end, well, you know, then they get all their panties in a bunch because they don't like to shit and sleep in their own bed. That's why they destroy the state of California and go to all your fine states and try to destroy that one. I think that without question, Trump is going to try to act dictatorial, blah, 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 towards individuals who believe harmed him. It is clear that by January 19th, that revenge is his intention. I love how he's describing somebody else's intention when this guy's head's so far up his ass. Then I would recommend to President Biden that he provide those preemptive pardons. Well, there's your answer. Preemptive pardons to people, because that's really what our country is going to need next year. If you got nothing to worry about, why preemptively pardon somebody? This is no hypothetical threat. The time for cautious restraint is over. We must act with urgency to push back against these threats to prevent Trump from abusing his power. You assholes just spent years abusing your power. You drove the country, the globe, into ruin.